Welcome to Truth Report, the show that digs beneath the headlines to uncover the hidden truths about power, policy, and the forces shaping our world. I'm Alex Truth.
And I'm Maya Clarity. Tonight, we're peeling back the layers on a series of seemingly disparate events, from high-stakes geopolitical negotiations and groundbreaking energy innovations to the silent struggles for global resources and the profound human cost embedded in our energy supply chains.
We'll expose how old conflicts over fossil fuels continue to simmer, even as revolutionary clean energy solutions emerge. We'll show you the accelerating pace of technological change that threatens to make today's investments obsolete by tomorrow.
And we'll connect the dots between distant diplomatic tables, bustling ports, and remote communities, revealing a complex web of interests and influences that defines our energy future. This isn't just news, it's an investigation into the very foundations of power.
Stay with us as we expose the truth behind the headlines. First up tonight, a significant diplomatic development: the United States and Iran are set to hold talks in Geneva next week, with Oman acting as the host. Switzerland has also offered its good offices to facilitate dialogue. This comes after Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff reportedly met in Oman earlier this month.
Indeed, Alex. According to the South China Morning Post, Washington is pushing Tehran to make a deal to limit its nuclear program. The mention of U.S. President Donald Trump's team in the article indicates these negotiations could be a continuation or a re-engagement of policies from a previous administration, signaling a potentially evolving, yet deeply entrenched, geopolitical dance.
The stakes here are incredibly high. These aren't mere diplomatic niceties, they are direct negotiations concerning Iran's nuclear capabilities. Any agreement, or lack thereof, has profound implications for global energy markets, particularly oil prices, and the stability of the entire Middle East.
Exactly. Iran, a major oil producer, has faced crippling sanctions, directly impacting its ability to export crude. A successful deal could pave the way for sanctions relief, potentially unleashing significant volumes of Iranian oil back onto the global market. This would inevitably drive down prices, a critical factor for energy importing nations and a challenge for competing producers.
But it's not just about oil. The specter of a nuclear-armed Iran casts a long shadow over regional security. For the U.S., these talks are about non-proliferation and maintaining a delicate balance of power in an already volatile region, where allies like Saudi Arabia and Israel are watching closely.
The involvement of Oman and Switzerland as hosts is also telling. These neutral nations are playing crucial roles as mediators, underscoring the deep distrust that still exists between Washington and Tehran. Their diplomatic capital is leveraged to create a space for dialogue that neither side seems willing to initiate directly on its own soil.
Who benefits from these talks? If successful, the U.S. gains a degree of control over Iran's nuclear ambitions, enhancing regional security. Iran could see vital economic relief from sanctions, boosting its struggling economy and potentially allowing it to expand its influence regionally.
But there are clear losers too. Hardliners within both governments may view any compromise as a betrayal. Furthermore, regional rivals of Iran, who benefit from its isolation, might see a thawing of relations as a threat to their own strategic interests and influence. It's a zero-sum game for some.
The broader power structure at play is the constant tension between global energy security, nuclear deterrence, and national sovereignty. The U.S. seeks to maintain its influence as a global superpower, while Iran aims to assert its regional dominance and secure its sovereign right to nuclear technology.
This isn't merely about a nuclear program, it's about control over resources and political leverage. The talks are a proxy for the ongoing struggle to define the future energy landscape and geopolitical order in one of the world's most critical oil-producing regions. Shifting gears now to a fascinating and, frankly, genius innovation, as Electrek reports, the idea of adding solar panels to refrigerated semi-trailers. This might seem incredibly obvious, but the implications for the energy sector and our environment are profound.
It truly is. These refrigerated trailers are essential for our food supply chains, hauling everything from fresh produce to flowers. But the dirty secret is they're typically powered by red-dye diesel gensets that run around the clock, emitting significant pollution, even when the truck pulling them is electric.
That's the crux of the problem, Alex. We're investing heavily in electric semi-trucks to decarbonize transportation, yet a massive pollutant source in the logistics chain, the refrigerated trailer itself, has largely been overlooked. These diesel gensets contribute substantially to air pollution and carbon emissions.
The genius lies in its simplicity. By integrating solar panels onto the trailer roofs, these units can generate their own clean electricity to power the refrigeration. This drastically reduces, or even eliminates, the need for those polluting diesel generators, cutting both emissions and operational costs.
This innovation, championed by companies like SunSwap, isn't just about environmental benefit, it's a powerful economic argument. The savings on diesel fuel, maintenance, and potentially carbon taxes can be substantial for trucking companies, offering a swift return on investment. It's a win-win for sustainability and profitability.
The primary beneficiaries here are, of course, the environment and the communities living near logistics hubs, which often bear the brunt of diesel exhaust. But the transport companies themselves stand to gain immensely from reduced fuel costs and improved corporate sustainability profiles.
On the flip side, the traditional diesel genset manufacturers and fuel suppliers for these auxiliary units will face a declining market. This highlights the disruptive potential of renewable energy solutions, even in niche applications. The obviousness of the solution makes it all the more compelling and overdue.
This story underscores a critical pattern we often see: the fossil fuel industry's entrenched systems continue to operate even when cleaner, more efficient alternatives are staring us in the face. It takes innovative companies to push past the inertia and prove the viability of these solutions.
It reveals the sluggish pace of change within traditional sectors, often due to existing infrastructure, regulatory frameworks, and a lack of incentive to disrupt profitable, albeit polluting, practices. This solar trailer concept exposes a systemic failure to quickly adopt common-sense clean energy solutions.
Turning now to geopolitical tensions in the East China Sea, Japan has released the captain of a Chinese fishing boat, the Cheongdongyu, after Tokyo said the vessel tried to flee an inspection in Japan's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. China reportedly submitted documents guaranteeing bail payment, according to the South China Morning Post.
This incident, while ostensibly about fishing, illuminates deeper struggles over resource control and maritime sovereignty that are intrinsically linked to regional energy security. The EEZ, extending 200 nautical miles from a nation's coast, grants sovereign rights over natural resources, including potential offshore oil and gas reserves.
Precisely, Maya. Japan's fisheries agency seized the boat off its southwestern Nagasaki prefecture. This area is not just rich in fishing grounds, it's a strategically vital corridor and potentially harbors significant untapped energy resources. Disputes over these waters often involve more than just fish, they concern future energy access.
The detention and subsequent release, contingent on a Chinese bail guarantee, highlights the delicate diplomatic tightrope walked by both nations. Neither wants to escalate an incident over a fishing vessel into a broader confrontation, especially given the crucial economic ties and the global significance of shipping lanes through these waters, vital for energy transit.
Who benefits from this resolution? Japan asserts its EEZ rights, albeit cautiously, reinforcing international maritime law. China secures the release of its citizen and vessel, avoiding further public humiliation or diplomatic strain. It's a careful de-escalation that allows both sides to save face.
However, the underlying tensions remain. The continuous encroachment by Chinese vessels into disputed waters is a calculated assertion of its territorial claims, which often overlap with potential energy exploration zones. This constant probing is a long-term strategy to reshape regional power dynamics.
The power structures at play are clear: national sovereignty, naval presence, and economic leverage. China's growing naval power and its economic might allow it to challenge existing maritime boundaries, while Japan, supported by its alliances, seeks to uphold the established international order.
This incident, though seemingly minor, is a microcosm of the larger struggle for dominance in the Asia-Pacific. Control over these maritime zones is not just about fish, it's about future energy access, strategic choke points for global trade, and the geopolitical competition that shapes our energy world. Now to a story that, on the surface, might seem disconnected from energy, but which upon deeper examination, reveals the profound human cost and political capital deeply intertwined with resource extraction. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney joined hands with opposition leader Pierre Poilievre in Tumbler Ridge, a small mining town, to mourn victims of a mass shooting.
The Guardian reports that 8 lives were shattered in this tragedy. While the immediate focus is on the devastating human loss, the setting, Tumbler Ridge, a small mining town, is a critical detail that connects this story, however indirectly, to the energy landscape. These are the communities on the front lines of resource extraction.
Exactly, Alex. Tumbler Ridge, known for its coal mining, represents countless towns globally whose economies and social fabrics are inextricably linked to energy and resource industries. These communities often face boom and bust cycles, environmental impacts, and socio-economic pressures that can contribute to underlying societal stresses.
Prime Minister Carney, a former central banker, showing unity with the opposition leader in such a crisis is significant. It demonstrates the immense political will and attention required to address the fallout of societal breakdown, resources that might otherwise be directed towards economic or energy policy.
The victims are undoubtedly the biggest losers here, and the community is irrevocably scarred. However, The broader energy sector and the political establishment also bear a cost, as these tragedies expose vulnerabilities within the communities that power our nations, diverting focus and resources from long-term strategic planning.
This incident highlights how political attention can be absorbed by immediate crises, potentially sidelining crucial debates on energy transition, resource management, or the social responsibilities of the resource extraction industries themselves. It's a stark reminder of the human element in the energy equation.
The image of Carney and Poilievre, holding hands, flanked by First Nations chiefs, symbolizes a rare moment of political unity. This solidarity, while commendable in grief, also begs the question: could such unity be harnessed to address the systemic challenges faced by resource-dependent communities, including transitioning away from fossil fuels?
This event exposes the often overlooked human toll of our reliance on resource-intensive industries. The pressure on these communities, the environmental impact of mining, and the cyclical nature of resource prices can all contribute to social instability. It's a powerful reminder that energy isn't just about kilowatts or barrels, it's about people and their lives. Finally tonight, a critical revelation from CleanTechnica: most maritime shipping battery propulsion studies are already obsolete. This isn't a criticism of the researchers, but rather a stark acknowledgement of the breakneck pace of technological advancement in battery technology.
This is a massive story for anyone looking at the future of energy and global trade. Shipping accounts for a significant portion of global greenhouse gas emissions, and batteries are seen as a key solution for decarbonization. But if the research can't keep up, we're making decisions based on outdated data.
The article clearly states that assumptions in even recent studies were grounded in battery costs and energy densities available at the time. Now, just a short while later, those figures have been dramatically surpassed, rendering detailed modeling efforts effectively irrelevant.
This rapid evolution means that the economic viability and operational feasibility of battery-powered ships are improving at an exponential rate. What was deemed too expensive or too heavy last year could be perfectly viable today. This demands a complete re-evaluation of investment strategies for maritime decarbonization.
The beneficiaries here are obviously the environment and the battery manufacturers, who are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Shipping companies willing to adapt quickly could also gain a competitive edge through lower operating costs and reduced carbon footprints.
But the losers are potentially vast: companies that invested in older, less efficient battery systems or alternative fuels based on obsolete projections, and policymakers who relied on these studies to set regulations or allocate subsidies. It creates a risk of stranded assets in a rapidly changing energy landscape.
This phenomenon exposes a fundamental flaw in how we approach long-term planning for energy transition. The speed of innovation in renewable technologies consistently outpaces traditional investment cycles and regulatory frameworks. We're always playing catch-up.
It's a stark reminder that the power structures influencing energy are no longer solely governmental or corporate. They are increasingly driven by technological breakthroughs. Those who can innovate fastest and adapt quickest will define the future of energy and global logistics. Alex, when we look across these 5 stories tonight, a powerful, underlying narrative emerges: a global energy system in a profound state of flux, driven by both old conflicts and new technologies.
Absolutely, Maya. From the US-Iran talks struggling to manage fossil fuel geopolitics and nuclear ambitions, to the rapid obsolescence of maritime battery studies, we see a constant, often chaotic, interplay between old power structures clinging to the past and innovative forces pulling us towards a cleaner future.
The struggle for control over traditional energy resources, whether it's Iranian oil or fishing rights in a strategically important EEZ off Japan, continues to fuel geopolitical tension. Nations are still battling over the finite resources that have historically driven global power.
Yet, simultaneously, we see brilliant, simple solutions like solar panels on semi-trailers emerging, offering a tangible path away from dirty diesel. It highlights the undeniable potential of renewables to disrupt existing, polluting systems, if only we embrace them.
And the human element, so poignantly illustrated by the tragedy in Tumbler Ridge, reminds us of the often unseen social costs of our resource-dependent economies. The communities that fuel our world often bear the heaviest burdens, and their welfare must be central to any energy transition.
What ties it all together is the accelerating pace of change. Technology is moving so fast that our assumptions, our research, even our policy decisions, can become obsolete almost overnight. This demands agility, foresight, and a willingness to challenge established norms.
The truth is, the global energy landscape is not just shifting, it's undergoing a seismic transformation. It's a race between the inertia of established power and the unstoppable momentum of innovation, with the future of our planet hanging in the balance.
These stories reveal a world grappling with immense challenges and incredible opportunities. The question is, are we willing to look beyond the headlines and truly understand the forces at play?
Your awareness is your power. We encourage you to dig deeper, question the narratives, and demand accountability from those shaping our energy future.
Because the truth, however complex, is always worth uncovering.
For Alex Truth, I'm Maya Clarity. Thank you for joining us on Truth Report.